Hi, welcome to Podium, track 003, Coaching from a Quiet Mind. And this session was recorded from a webinar that I held with a group of coaches, which was titled Spiritual Truths Behind Highly Effective Sports Coaching. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to speaking and sharing with you again soon. What's the biggest change for me is how I show up in any situation. And even now, when I'm on this webinar, before I would have prepped in as much as I would have known exactly what I was going to talk about. I would have known how I was going to deliver it. I would have had my tools, I would have had my methods. I would have had everything that I wanted to, and here's the difference, present rather than share. And the space I'm coming from is different. When I'm speaking to sports people, the one thing that seems to have been the most impactful for them is when I start to talk about quiet mind, and I start to talk about, well, it's no great surprise that we get our best ideas and we get our best insights when our mind is quiet. And sports people really understand that because they can tune into those times where things just occur to you. The performance zone state, the performance comes through you. You know, it's automatic, it's easy, it's effortless. It's as if actually it's running itself. You, the person's not involved. For me, I found that for the last 4 years, I have had all of those same types of questions, like how do I transition from how I used to do my coaching to now? How is it I set up different things? I would have had those questions too, but now I see that my grounding or my understanding the human experience is such that when I'm in my quiet mind, I just get ideas. Performance just flows through me. I just get things occur to me. Because there's no right or wrong. Because right or wrong doesn't exist, actually, it's a concept. One of the biggest differences for me as a coach, as a national coach, what I noticed, I didn't know anything about the principles, but I noticed there would be times when I would have a lot of clutter. It would be very noisy. I would have, and you guys probably can relate to this straight away, being coaches, is I would have thoughts about, I wonder how well this match is going to go. I wonder how the result is going to go in our favor. I wonder if people are going to like it. And you start to get a lot of noise about what it is that you're involved in. And there were other times where I was completely clear. And I had no idea. I had no idea really why it was. And at the time, I knew that to be in high performance or any performance, that I needed to find a way to take the emotion out of my coaching. I needed to be able to reduce my anxiety levels and naturally slip into this performance zone state as best I could. Like I knew that was a benefit to me. And it wasn't something I could try to do, it just happened. And so all I had available, and this is kind of how we were before, all I had available was and I knew my thinking had a lot to do with it. I didn't know, and this is the interesting part, I didn't know that my thinking state wasn't being caused by the situation I was in. I didn't know that. People don't know that your feeling state isn't coming from the circumstance that you're in or the situation. So what we did as coaches is we just try and deal, don't we, with the thinking that we have. and we try to control it, manipulate it, change it, do whatever we can, throw whatever we've got at it in order for us to have a quiet mind. And this was okay, and it appeared to work. It appeared to work. When I was in Singapore at the Six Nations, we had 5 straight wins, including a win against Wales, and we were just cruising. There was nothing. I didn't seem to have anything on it. I didn't seem to have heightened levels of anxiety at all. And then we got to the final, and it was as if the situation was totally different. All that happened was, inside my mind, this situation was different. The game was different. It really came in at me. And I could feel the ramped up thinking. In that situation of pressure, I was looking for my tools and techniques. And I was looking, because all I had was techniques, and I was looking for them. I was looking for a banana to feed my chimp voice. And I didn't have any. I didn't have any bananas. It was so intense, and I was so invested in the outcome that there was no technique. And I'd had 15 years of mental skill development. There was no technique that could save me in that situation. And I felt it. My team talk was rubbish. It was just so cluttered. I even was so uptight that I wrote it down. That's how detailed I go. That's my technique to save myself. And we lost the game to Wales in the final by 3 times as much as we won it in the rounds. Simply because my mind had got full. And I thought at the time I needed to do something with it. And since then, I can see that an understanding of the principles is heading in a different direction of not needing to do anything with the content of my thinking, which has been derived from a misunderstanding of where experience comes from. Now, when I get a lot of head noise, all right, and I can get frustrated by the players. I was in a training session yesterday, and we had 28 14-year-olds, and it was a performance session, and they were just full of energy, and they didn't want to stand and listen to the coach. I mean, that was just so far from their minds. Now, if I didn't have this understanding, I would have been autocratic in my style. I would have blown the whistle loudly, and I would have been almost disciplinarian. That would have been my style, and that I would have got results. They would have behaved themselves. All right, but instead, what I found was I got their buy-in. I got their ownership. I got them to own the session. Instead, because I wasn't agitated and I wasn't personally invested in the outcome of the session, I had no ego on it. I knew that the quality of the session doesn't say anything about me as a human being. I'm not out to prove myself as a coach. Like, I know that all those belief systems are all made up. They're all coming from the power of thought, and that's an inside job. So because my personal mind, through my understanding of the principles, was fairly rested in that session, I was able to come from universal mind. I was able to come from wisdom and respond from a level of psychological functioning, if you like, a level of a mood state which was helpful. And what I did was, I did blow the whistle. We brought it in. They carried on chatting, and I just was nice and quiet. And I blew it again. I said, "Okay, guys, I wonder what we can do to help you to get the best out of this session? Would it be all right if, yeah? So lots of permission, lots of questions and explanation. You know, I'm sure you don't want me to be blowing the whistle. I'm sure you don't want me to be telling you off. I'm wondering if this might help get the best out of this session. What do you think? You could feel the connection, the power of transformation, the thing that effects a change is in the connection. It's in the rapport. So in actual fact, what you do or what you say is almost irrelevant. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to this session, which I held on a webinar actually with a group of coaches that are starting to work in the field of sport from a foundation of understanding the three principles behind the human experience, how it is we get to experience what we do, and who and what we truly are at source. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can send me an email on denise.holland@class-performance.com, or you can look at my website on www.class-performance.com. This leaves me to say have a wonderful day, and I look forward to chatting and sharing with you again soon. Bye-bye.